Hello, and welcome to another installment of Comparative Reasoning. I'm your host, Cedric Kennedy, and today we'll be going over what if someone organized the unfavorable idea. Now that out of the way, I just thought I'd do that because it's been a long time since I've done that kind of intro. uh, but what if someone did organize the unfavorable idea? That's the great question. And you probably wonder what that is. Well, it's simple. Think about this pandemic. Think about everything that's going right, which is probably 20% of the country, and everything that's going wrong, which is 1/3 of the country. And then the rest is kind of like, I'm not sure. We're going to talk about business. Business. See, when I was a part of Quick Star, which was an offshoot of Amway, the guy said one thing, and that was true, which is why Quick Star is there. And they said, if your business isn't online within the next 5 years, then you won't be in business. Now, I believed it then. I've seen it just as you all. It's been true. But bad business is only done by those who are greedy, do not want to relent their power just a little bit. Those are the ones that do bad business. Those are bad practices. Those are bad actors. Now, in the midst of this pandemic, it's been easily exploited that grunt workers, they don't get anything. No one cares. No one ever cared. I was hoping, and a lot of people were hoping, 4 or 5 people were hoping that this pandemic would really exploit that to your faces and you would understand it. But people don't want that. They want to return to the normacy of things. They want to go back to how jacked up things were. Why? They're not bright. They want normal. For example, I was snapped out of that mindset. See, I never really cared about normal because I was always treated abnormal. But when it comes to certain situations, I'm going to harken back to a quick story. I needed a car for a part. Well, a part for a car. And it was a spark plug. And I take it to the guy, and I look at him and I say, I need a part. I need this part just like this. And he says, if you get one that's just like that, it's still not going to work. And, Sidra was standing there with me, and I thought about it for maybe a second and a half, and I just kind of nodded. I said, can you find a part to replace this so it does work? And he looked at me and he smirked just a little bit. And, there's a chance that smirk was saying he gets it. Because, anyone would offer up some dumbass argument or fight or something like that. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to use this, like I do many things, as a chance to learn, to better myself, gain a little wisdom. So what people want, they scream for better, but they want it the same as before. You can't get better by asking for what you've already had. Because if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. Ain't that how the saying go? So what if somebody in some little cul-de-sac or some little offshoot neighborhood, a well-to-do neighborhood, and I ain't talking well-to-do in middle class and up, I'm talking about well-to-do as in the size of the neighborhood. Everybody relatively knows everyone. They're all interconnected. They got something going. And someone says, hey, why don't we do something different? Why don't we all organize, pull in our money to one spot, use that money to build a structure. That structure will then be used as, let's say, a local neighborhood grocery mart. Okay? So they all pull in, they put their money in, this grocery mart gets built. All right? It's built. Now, this guy, he decides, or this girl, this person, this person decides what they're going to do is they're going to run it because their name is on it. And it's linked, taxed and all this other stuff. It is. They've got one employee, just one. That employee gets paid minimum wage. The owner gets paid minimum wage. People come in from their jobs. They buy from this local store. That's what they'll do. Support the store that you all helped build. Sounds kind of cool, kind of novel, So they just purchase from that store, and the money used buy more goods for the store. Then he hires another person for minimum wage, maybe 2 or 3 more people at minimum wage. He too gets minimum wage. What happens to any possible profits? Well, that goes to insurances, taxes, more product procurement. But this person decides to do something extra. See, there's a demand for people that can't leave the home, don't want to leave the home, or just, they literally don't want to do anything other than order online because they just want to be that way. So he makes it so that only in certain surrounding areas will this place deliver to certain people. No more than a 5-mile radius right now. Okay? 10-mile diameter. Got everything done. It's all, secured and everything. Okay? Secure site, secure everything. He doesn't bank at the local for-profit banks. He does his banking online somewhere else. Online at, let's say, Aspiration. Let's say another little bank that pops up somewhere. He decides to bank there. And let's say this person now has delivery drivers working at minimum wage. And any tips they get, that's theirs. You don't worry about that. Any tips that happen in the grocery store, grocery mart, he doesn't care. Those are tips, don't matter. Let's say this catches on. So the neighborhood just keeps, paying this money to these people, to this guy. Well, the ones that work there are from the neighborhood. That money goes back to the neighborhood. And see, what if somebody realizes this is working? The store's going. It gives their children or those that want to work to make money like that. They want to work like that to make money. It gives them a good place to go. So it's near. It's within walking distance. Or someone could drop them off, take a little bike, scooter, something like that. They got a good spot. Don't that seem nice? And then with that spot, what they choose to do is make sure that grocery store flourishes because they keep going there and purchasing the goods. Awesome, right? Right? Sounds nice. Oh, might I add, he's paying the employees under the table. He gets, his is taxed, but he pays them under the table. He just right out the register, don't matter. All right? And this store is only open for, right now, let's say 4 hours out the day. What's going to happen? Well, that's only up to that little neighborhood to determine that. But let's be positive. Let's say people pour in more money. Now, the prices will be a bit higher. They're not on the stock exchange. Oh, no, they keep it off that. That's rule number 1. Rule number 1, keep it away from the stock exchange. All right? Do not become publicly traded. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, do not get paid more than you're paying your employees. Rule number 3, you take care of the store first and make sure the store benefits the neighborhood before anyone else. So what if someone says, you know something, it's a nice store. But wouldn't it be better if you got your food, your vegetables and stuff from someone else instead of ordering it from some warehouse or something? They say, what you going to do? Well, let's say the community starts a farm in one of those empty slots that's out there in the neighborhood. And everyone can go and pick they can, but no, he does it just for the grocery store. And anything left over, they just give it to the people. As a thank you for helping support your local grocery mart. Just imagine that. Imagine that catching on. Imagine if they decided to build, they pulled their money again, because this is working. They pull their money and build a clinic. They get experienced doctors and whatnot that are local or whatnot, and they work there. And they work. I know it's magical. I know this is out of the realm of reality. But what if they work for minimum wage? What if they work for minimum wage? What if not only working for minimum wage, they work for, they hire apprentices to work in the clinic. As the old joke would say, they're gophers. Go for this, go for that. Supplies, coffee, intern secretaries. Now let's say someone decides to open up their own insurance company, one that would actually do right. And it's the name of their street, but insurance. And they don't profit off of the insurance. They might make a little money, maybe, but primarily insurance does what the insurance is meant to do. And they make sure they take care of their own. So, and then the doctor gets paid a little bit from the insurance. It's not publicly traded. So they don't have to advertise. They don't have to please shareholders. All this money that could be made, it stays within that neighborhood. Just imagine this little new paradigm catching on. And let's say that their wage increases only go up when their sustained profit goes up. So the more they make, the more their pay goes up. Just imagine that. Just imagine. Imagine doing the right thing with the right people for the right reasons. It's not for profit. It's not for exploit. Oh no. It's there just so people can be happier. Helps the community. Helps learn money. Help your local grocery. Your grocery helps your local people. It's called a cycle. It's a good cycle. And with a lot of money, they could be paying $15, $20 some an hour. 4 hours a day. That means people come in, they know when to get their stuff. People that need it that's further away, they can order it, it gets delivered. They're going to make their money. And delivery charges could easily be, hey, we're going to charge you $2 per mile we have to travel. And it's set there, so they with the way Google is, and all that, all your information is out there, so they can just track you however they wish. And then someone still might get tipped. And those tips are going to probably go back into the store or somewhere else in that community, or they might buy something outside the community. But nonetheless, it'll be people helping people, not people siphoning from people, hoarding it, and then finding a way to keep that going no matter how much the people do not have. You can't get water from a well that's dry. But our country has found a way to do that. And people want to return to that. My question would be, because I know there's some people that are going to say what I'm saying is crazy, ludicrous nonsense, somebody would go for it, because these are the same people, they don't want change. They don't want a better life. They don't want to be happy. If you say something positive, they're going to find the negative. They have to. They're not going to tell you how it can work. They'll just tell you every reason for it to not go against what they're used to. And my question is, in general, would you rather go back to normal? Because you've seen my videos on that. Would you want to go back to normal, or would you want to attempt the unfavorable idea? That's the question. Leave your comments down below. Please share, like, subscribe if you're not. You know I read the comments. For now, I don't have billions of comments. I just got a few. Leave your comment. You know I read it. This has been Cedric Kennedy for Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.